Hey everyone, Keith McGinnis here with KCDC Designs. So this technique is not using alcohol inks, but alcohol dyes and mica powders. Started off with a sample board. This is how the bathroom vanity turned out. Stay tuned and enjoy the video. But the colors I have mixed up, and I think I do still have, to make things simple. I know that Rhonda has a video out there, I believe with her and Claire, where they show how they mix this up. But it's basically 91% isopropyl alcohol. So the different type of aluminite dyes that you can get, there's all different colors. You can mix and match those colors to get the color that you desire. This one is called warm gray, and if I could see my board, I don't have that one up there. This one I do, just to give you an idea. So this one is called Mermaid, and Mermaid was 1 drop of black aluminite dye and then resin art mica colors to get the color you want. Mermaid is what I used, so maybe there is a color by Resin art called Mermaid. So I've got Mermaid, Caribbean Sea, brown aluminite dye, white pearl, 007 gold, and that is a color Obsession. And that one I mixed up pretty heavy, and you have to shake these up really good when you apply them because those metallics will sink very quickly in the alcohol. So shake them up really good when you apply them. But that 007 made some amazing looking gold lacing on this piece here. I know you're not going to be able to see it, but if I move it around, I don't know if you can see the gold in there, but really, really turned out cool. So warm gray, and then this is the one that I mixed up that is really, really a good match to her salty sea, or whatever the name of the color was, but it is a turquoise blue, and you'll see that color. I'll be using quite a bit of that because that's really what ties in a lot with her bathroom walls. So those are the alcohol dyes that I'm going to be using, and probably the most important part of this technique is having a bottle of alcohol, because you're going to use that alcohol to cover the area that you're going to be working, and then you put the dyes on there and move those around with a blow dryer. I don't use a heat gun. The alcohol dissipates and evaporates quickly enough the way it is. The hair dryer for me works really good to move those colors around the way you want them. So let's just get to it. So anyway, Keith McGinnis with KCDC Designs. Want to see how I created this? Stay tuned and enjoy the video. So as you can see in this segment, as I'm using my hands to try to figure out where I want to run my design and how I want the flow to go, I want to explain this is on 3/4 MDF, and I painted it with white stone coat undercoat paint. Then I applied, and then what you'll want to do is, using 2 ounces per square foot, you need a very, very slick surface to do this technique. So you need to put a clear coat over the top of your base color, whatever that might be. What I decided to do was use the Polycolor White Metallic mixed in with my clear resin to give it a base that would have a metallic look to it. So that's what I'm starting off with as I get ready to start this technique. First thing I want to do is get some alcohol in the area. Actually, I think I'll use my big bottle. And let's get that covered. So this Fled coat that I put on here is right at 24 hours that I put it on here. So I'm going to start off with the turquoise blue because that's a color that is going to match her walls the best. So just to clarify one more time, after I put down the clear coat, I let that set for 24 hours. So you can let it set 24 hours, you can let it set 24 days. It doesn't matter. You just need to make sure that you've got a nice smooth surface for using this technique and for applying this technique. So now what I'm doing is I'm just adding the different colors in and then moving those around with the blow dryer. One more tip, if you use a blow dryer from home, be really careful, because if it's a used blow dryer, debris can come out of that. So I went out and just bought a cheap travel
new blow dryer, but anyway. So I get my colors on there, and again, all that those alcohol dyes are going to move where you have alcohol on your surface. And so I put those down. I'm moving those around. I'm going to speed this up because what I end up with, I don't like, and I'm going to end up just wiping the whole thing off and starting back over again. So I'm going to speed this whole thing up. You can see what I'm doing here, which will give you a little bit of an idea, and then you'll see when I pretty much wipe the slate clean and start over again.
So once that alcohol has set up, you can actually reactivate it just by putting more alcohol on it. So what I'm going to do right now in this area is I'm going to layer this again. And if I get to the point where I just hate the whole thing, I'll just spray it down with alcohol, wipe it off, and start over. So let's start over here in this area.
In hindsight, I think a couple things. I worked too large of an area and overworked it a little bit as well. And the further I got on, yeah, the more I just quite didn't care for it. It doesn't look bad, don't get me wrong, but it really wasn't what I was wanting.
I think I'm just going to start over. What's the worst that could happen, right? I don't like any of it.
And there you go. Spray it down, wipe it off, and start all over again. And you'll see that one of the mica powders, and I'll explain this in the video, one of the mica powders was not a resin art mica powder, and it ended up staining the surface. And I'm sure a lot of that was due to the fact that the clear coat was only poured 24 hours earlier, but ended up ended up making for a good base. I'll talk about that here in just a little bit. So I'm now just getting everything wiped down good.
All right, round two. Let's try this again.
So on this one, being round two, I'm doing it again. I'm working a bigger area, but I think I am concentrating more on smaller areas first. Whatever I did differently, I certainly liked it a lot better the second time. And in my mind, I was just trying not to overwork it. And what's really important to know is if you give that time for that alcohol to dissipate, um, you can get some more alcohol on it, get some more colors on it, and you're basically layering it, which gives it a really cool effect also. And it kind of is what adds to the outlining that you see. And in the finished product, you'll see those outlines really make a big difference. To me, anyway, I think they look really cool. So um, I did notice as I was doing this and as I was moving things around when I added the darker colors, those contrasts really added a lot and really made a big difference. And I'll be honest with you, as I'm doing this right now, still in my mind, I'm wondering, am I getting the look that I wanted? But just step back, take a look at it. You can see I added more alcohol to get things moving around a little bit. Now I'm getting some darker colors put in there, moving those around, and yeah, things just kind of start falling into play, and I end up liking it a lot more. Two of the colors, one of them, that white pearl, doesn't show up a lot, and you really can't see it, looking down over the top of it. But there are areas in there where those pearl micas really do stick out and really stand out. Um, Okay, so I took a break last night and I'm coming back today to finish this up and see what we can do. So I've got some areas here that I don't care for that, I don't care for that. So I can do one of two things. I can just reactivate it and get some more color on it. Or I can just wipe it off. Yeah, I think probably the same with that one too.
All right, so let's get some more alcohol on there. We're working that little area right there. Caribbean blue going through there. Just got to get a touch of brown.
I think one of the other things I discovered too was when I put the colors down, to put them on top of each other opposed to putting them beside each other. And maybe there's times that I did put them beside each other, but as you can see here, it just seemed like it made um, I was able to get more of the desired look when I combined the colors in the same area, opposed to running lines or streams of those colors in different places. But things are more taking shape than they were the first time, and I'm trying to be aware of what I was doing to get the desired effects that I liked. And I think that's one of them is don't work too large of an area. And for me, it seemed to help when I was adding those colors kind of on top of each other. Now, of course, if you do that, if you've got a blue and a yellow, you're probably going to end up with green. But that seemed to work for me the best. And it's a fun technique because if you've got an area you didn't quite care for too much, add some more alcohol to it and move it around a little bit more. One of the things that did stand out the most was that 007 Gold, which is a color obsession powder. And I mixed it up pretty heavy, but the gold accents in there, man, really made that thing pop, and customer absolutely loved it as well. And of course, that's the important part.
I ended last night at about 10:30, and I just didn't like where it was going. And so I thought, you know what? With this design, what's nice about it is you can come back later. Actually, it's probably on the video. I probably shouldn't show it, but my first attempt, I didn't like it, and I just squirted it down with isopropyl alcohol, wiped it down, started a clean slate. Because I was only 24 hours in, there were some areas that stained, but it actually worked out really well because that's the color of the customer's walls. And so I really like the way that's turning out now. I kind of like the defined ridges, if you will. That one I'm going to try to clean up just a little bit. I'm going to be careful because I just don't want to overwork it. Now the customer's going to have a vessel bowl that's going to be sitting about right here, so I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm going to leave that. I like it. So now I have this one empty voided area over here. So I think I want to leave some of the white in there because, again, that's white metallic, which looks really cool. This area that I just cleaned up a little bit really looks nice. I like it. So I'm going to get just a little bit more red in this area here. And then I think I'm going to call it. So let's just kind of focus. Oh, I'm carried away here with the alcohol. Red in that area. And, ooh, that's about empty. Yep, that's empty. What do I have there? Caribbean Sea. Okay, so I just mixed up some Caribbean Sea. Caribbean Sea has Alumilite black dye, 1 drop, and then Caribbean Sea, which is resin art powder. Let's see if I got close. Oh, a little more black than it was before. And a little bit of mermaid. Drop of brown. Bit of warm gray. And let's get some 007 in there. I think something about this here area that I'm not real crazy about. I like it. Oh, I like it a lot. We've got some good gold, but I think I'm going to try to see if I can get that gold to kind of pull together a little bit. There we go. I'll move it around just a little. I'm going to let that move on its own a little bit. And I think I'm going to call it. I like some of the veining in there. That right there, what did I do? Where'd that come from? I'm going to get a little bit of my Caribbean Sea in there. Looks like a heart. But I like it. Kind of a geodish look. I like it. Oh, that's very iridescent. Wow. Oh my. I'm walking away. Walking away. Front edge. Amazing. Side. Spot on. This side. Almost spot on. Now spot on. Now spot on. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. So I've got some nice white going through here of the white metallic that I put down for a base coat. Oh man, the iridescence of those colors is just amazing. Okay, so all of the alcohol has now dried, and I'm going to be applying 3 coats of the Krylon UV archival spray in the matte finish. Three coats of that Krylon UV archival spray, and you have to make sure it's in a matte finish. So when Rhonda explains this, make sure you pay attention to the fact that it needs to be matte. Also, I visited with Rhonda as far as should these coats go on heavy or should they go on light? And she said it's very important to make sure that you are applying your coats of the archival spray very dry. Okay, so I am going to be putting 3 coats of that on there.
So the reason you're using the Krylon UV archival spray in the matte finish is to seal all of those colors down that you just put down. If you just apply a clear coat of resin over the top of that without sealing it with the UV archival spray, the resin is going to reactivate the alcohol and those colors, and they're going to bleed. So it's really important to seal down those colors. Now, in the Krylon UV archival spray and the matte finish, if you're finding that difficult to locate and you can't find any, you can also use Rust-Oleum clear spray paint. But again, make sure it's in a matte finish. If you use anything other than matte, such as the gloss, it has alcohol in it and it will reactivate those colors. So make sure that you're using matte, again, either in the Krylon UV archival spray or in the Rust-Oleum clear spray paint in the matte finish. So that's an overview before I got the 3 coats on there. After I got my coats of the archival spray and sealed those colors down, then I was able to put down my clear coat, and this is an overview of what the piece looks like after I got the clear coat put on, and it really, really turned out amazing. Um, the cells, I guess, or the outlining that you see really adds a lot of definition, and because of using the metallics, that's where you're seeing so much of the iridescence in those colors. It's crazy. It really, really turned out nice. I was really happy with it. Certainly a challenge working on a larger surface than it is working on a small sample board, as you can see, because of the fact I had to redo it, wipe it over, wipe it off, and start over. That 007 gold by Color Obsession is amazing. Get it mixed just right, and when you get the light in there, it really, really adds some really cool accents to it. So after 24 hours of putting on the flood coat, I did apply the ultimate top coat in the gloss finish. Really turned out nice. Customer was just blown away. This is the piece after being installed. The customer will get the vessel sink and faucet installed, but she absolutely loved it. Thanks everybody for watching, and once again, this is Keith McGinnis with KCDC Designs out of Eagle, Nebraska. Be sure and click the subscribe button and be notified of upcoming videos. Thanks everybody. Take care.